Hi guys, it's Baz from Hoggers UK here. I've got a very complicated clutch to show you today. I didn't say interesting. It's complicated. I've got a pastel specter confusion that I've mated to a phantom pastel highway. I did this breeding last year. I got some very interesting stuff out. I made one animal which blew me away. I may do an update on that at some point in this video. And I repeated it. It's very unusual for me to repeat a breeding, but I wanted to see if I could hit another one of these because I absolutely love it. And without further ado, let's cut them and see if we did. Okay, so this clutch is a highway phantom pastel to a specter pastel confusion. These are also overdue, same as my last clutch, but obviously during that cold spell my incubator was a couple of degrees lighter than normally is. A couple of degrees cooler probably would be a better way of putting it. I did this pairing last year and made some amazing animals. So there's a pastel confusion. That will either be gravel or specter. So quite a cool little animal to have. Can't be both because both makes an animal that looks like a super stripe. Did that a couple of years ago. Oh, and there it is. Oh, what is it with me and white snakes at the moment? Jesus Christ. That is a super pastel something or other, I'm going to say. Can it be? Yes, it can be. Super pastel. There's quite a lot of there's actually markings in there, like light grey markings in it, but didn't make anything like this last year. That's funky looking. Quite like it. And there is definitely only one male gone in here because I wanted to repeat the breeding. So I had one snake that I really liked and it didn't make it, so I wanted to have another go at making it again. Oh wow, look at that. And this is very similar to what I was expecting. So I made one very similar to this last season as well. Absolutely gorgeous. Just finally got it eating properly. It's nearly a year old. Okay, I don't know about anybody else, but confusion seems to be my nemesis. I have an awful trouble getting confusions to feed. Once they're feeding it's fine, but initially getting them going. And Mills breeds a lot of confusions and he's never really had any problems with it, so. And that is a bit funky looking. So that is probably just a gravel or a specter. Or even, yeah, wow. Not entirely sure what that is, but unless there's a gravel or a specter on its own, probably be quite a useful snake actually. If I could tell the difference between specter and gravel, it probably would be. And there is another, I'm going to say pastel phantom confusion. Yeah, made a few of those in the past. It looks like a pastel phantom confusion. Obviously be easier to tell when it's out of the egg. I'll leave the roll out till last and see what's in that. See how easy they came apart. These guys are ready, and in fact the blood vessels are well and truly sunk back. So there is, ooh, so that looks like a super specter. So it can't be. So I'm going to say that's a gravel specter combo. The one I said looked like that would look like a super stripe, and that's all it can be really. Cool, be interesting one. I kept one back of those last year with pastel on top, so absolutely stunning. and add confusion in it as well. I'm not entirely sure that one's confusion until I see it properly. There's another one of those really super pale things. Wow. Maybe they're the whole shebang. Got a bit of everything in them. Until they come out, you can't really tell. That's really nice. Really pale looking. Nothing, didn't produce, as I say, didn't produce anything like that last time. I got 2 this time. Let's see what the rollout produced, if it's okay. Well, that just looks like a pastel phantom, but it's got to be gravel or specter as well. So pastel phantom, gravel or specter. Looks a little bit less developed than the rest, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Cool. Some nice stuff in there. I can't wait to see these come out. Okay, so these are the animals shed off from the Confusion Pastel Spectre to the Phantom Pastel Highway. Giving me a real headache, this clutch. It's a real mix-up. Obviously, you've got 3 from the Yellow Belly complex in there. The Spectre Gravel and Yellow Belly involved. I think when I was cutting the eggs, I forgot about that. So, we'll see what we've got in a minute. So this first one, very dark, really nice. This is either a Yellow Belly, a Spectre, or a Gravel. Now it doesn't. I've hatched many Specters, and the Specters are very different from this. They've got much nicer, well, not nicer, but different patterns along the sides. I've got Specters in the shed. I can go get one and show you, but there's not really any need. This is definitely not a Spectre. So this is either a Gravel or a Yellow Belly. And I wouldn't like to say which. It's, you know, I know people that reckon they can tell the difference, but I can't. So ouch. Thanks. That is a little girl, an aggressive little girl. Didn't like being popped. Get off. And then go for this one. So this is either, I couldn't tell whether that was a pastel spectre or not. So this one is going to be, you know, it'll be put up as a pastel spectre, Yellow Belly possible, you know, all 3. Nice looking animal. Absolutely no idea what's in it. It's impossible to tell. And that's a little male. I won't hang about on these ones too much because there's some more exciting ones to see in the next box. This one again, it's very different from that one. That one's got a lot of blushing and weird markings in between in the yellows. This one's much cleaner. So I would say this one actually could just be a pastel Yellow Belly. Look at the markings on its tail. Absolutely stunning little animal. It's going to bite me, aren't you? Look at that. Really nice and clean. Actually, looking at the head, that actually is a phantom as well. So neither of those two are. This is a phantom pastel Yellow Belly, Spectre or Highway. So a little look what this one is. That's a little boy doing his best cobra impressions at the moment. So then there's this one, which I'm fairly convinced is a super phantom, super pastel phantom, and then after that it's anybody's guess. So it's a super pastel phantom, Yellow Belly, Gravel or Spectre, or it could be a common, it could be a Spectre Gravel, but obviously it can't be a Spectre Yellow Belly or a Gravel Yellow Belly because it'd be a super stripe. No, wouldn't it be a Highway or a super stripe? Look at that, Absolutely gorgeous. I actually think this one is actually I'm gonna say that this is a super pastel phantom specter gravel, and you'll see why I'm saying that in a minute. Look at the way those alien heads are all fused together and floating. Absolutely stunning animal. It's quite a powerful little beastie, this, and that's a male. Okay, so that's half the clutch, and then up here somewhere is the second half. Now these are even more, I think, even more difficult to work out, but I'm going to do my best. So this one, I love this animal. I think this is awesome. So this is the non-pastel version of this with the out phantom. So I think this is actually a specter gravel. So it looks a little bit like a super gravel, little bit like a super specter, but not quite either. So I'm actually I'm fairly sure I'm bang on with this one. Excuse my voice. I think it's as I say, a specter gravel. If there was a yellow belly in there, it would be a super stripe or a highway. Funny enough, I don't know if I really did hit any highways in this clutch. And that is a little girl. That's quite a cool animal, that. So whatever you put into that, if you put like an ivory into it, you would get highways and super stripes. That would be quite cool. And I have got a super enchy ivory, which would be quite cool to go into that. And then there's this one which is just as confused as I am. I hatched one very much like this from this pairing last year. This was the whole aim of doing this pairing again, was to get another one of these. She's doing okay. She's eating every week, but she's not growing at a huge rate, but she's doing all right. She's probably 400 or 500 grams, which, you know, as a yearling I can normally get them a lot bigger than that. But this is a pastel phantom confusion, but really what the rest of it is on, you know, I'm not sure. Doesn't look like a super stripe. I've hatched confusion super stripes. I think again this is going to be the specter gravel combo, so it's a pastel phantom specter gravel with confusion on top. So it's one of those in there with confusion on top. Absolutely gorgeous. I think I've already popped this one. It's a boy. Yeah, probably going to end up keeping that one. This was the animal I was aiming to achieve. Look at that head. It's amazing. There's very little reminiscent of the confusion pattern left anymore. There's nothing you could really say was influenced by super stripe or highway. It's just an absolutely mental looking snake. Got a gorgeous clear belly. I think that boy will be staying for sure. And then we go up to this one. Now this one I think is a super pastel, and mind you that one's more lighter, so let's go back to pastel. I don't know, do you know what's getting both out, because I really don't have a clue what these are. So that's got to be a super pastel version, and that's a pastel version. They're very similar looking, but they're nothing like the super stripes that I made last year. They're really odd looking. Maybe one of these is a highway. Again, I don't know. So this one is a pastel phantom confusion. At the very least, I can see that much. But whether it's it could be, you know, so this one is a phantom pastel confusion at the very least. Look at that face, it's absolutely beautiful. As to what else is in it, you know, this is the only one that looks a bit super stripy, but again it doesn't really look like the super stripes that I made last year. So that could be a pastel Phantom Confusion Super Stripe, I think. It's nothing like anything I've made before. Absolutely beautiful. Got a nasty feeling my whole back rack's going to be full up again this year, and that is a girl. Look at that. That face. I'm just going to leave that sitting on there for a minute because she's not trying to bite me yet. This one has to be a super pastel because the head is wiped out. So there is pastel on both sides, so that's quite possibly possible. I think it's more or less the same animal, but with super stripe on it. I think there's Phantom in there. There's pastel and there's definitely confusion. As to the rest of it, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know really. I think these two, I'm not really going to know what's in them completely until they're bred out. It's the problem with stacking so many genes on top. But it's definitely a super pastel. It's definitely a Phantom. It's definitely a confusion. As to the rest of it, I'm going to say, you know, it's a yellow belly gravel as well, or a yellow belly specter as well. As to which one's what, I don't know. But there you go. Look at that. Look at that. Absolutely. How could you? It's frustrating that I don't actually know what the hell they are, and I'm quite happy to admit that. Time will tell. I'll work it out over time. They might change as they grow. But look at that. Look at that eye stripe. Absolutely stunning. And the pattern in this is very subtle. It's almost like hieroglyphics on the side. It's a bit more subtle and tighter than this. So this pattern is what I expected from a Confusion Super Stripe, and this is tighter again. So don't know what this is, and I think that I won't know until I breed it and it's a girl. So there's a high chance that she'll be staying put to find out what's in her. So I'm very curious like that. Look at that. Look at them. I absolutely love these two animals, as you can probably tell. Absolutely amazing. And the head, this is probably the favourite head I've produced so far this season. Wow. Look at them. What can I say? Very confusing. Confusion clutch. Really difficult to pick the bones out of. There's some amazing animals in there. I don't think anyone would disagree. I hit the animal I wanted, and it's a male. So breed that to the female version of him could be bloody amazing and even more confusing. You know, it's getting more and more difficult to identify some of these animals as we stack it. There is a video last year of the same pairing. If you watch that video, you see the difference in the animals. You know, even though I repeated it, I only sort of really hit one or two animals that I hit last time. So the combinations from that combo is amazing. You know, it's phenomenal. You know, I think you could probably do that breeding 10 times and you wouldn't hit the same lot again. So there you go. I'm very happy with the last two. They'll probably be staying put. And if somebody twisted my arm and offered me a trade for one of them, I might let one go, just for sake of having not such a full shed, and such a full holdback rack. But I don't know. I already love those two girls, and I think that probably, and the male, so there's the three main confusions will probably be staying, but I never say never. Anyway, if you enjoyed my video, please tick the like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. And stay safe out there. One last thing that I didn't say. I have been criticised in the past for umming and ahhing and not knowing what the hell's in my clutches. I've watched, you know, the top guys. I've seen Justin do the same. Garrick does it a lot. I've seen Billy and the other fella, forgotten his name, sorry, the other fella, you know, arguing over genes and stuff. These highly stacked breedings are, you know, most of the animals in them are going to be new, so it's really hard to decide. But however, for those people that think they can do better than me, which is probably not hard, please comment below. I'm quite happy to, you know, for you to say what you think, or where I'm wrong, or you know, if I've got it right, or what you guys think. I'm more than happy. That's one of the reasons I like putting this sort of stuff out there. I get a lot of positive feedback. I get the odd negative one, which, you know, so who doesn't? But most of them are positive. And if you want to give me some feedback as to what the last two are, please feel free.